Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Fluctus Channel. Exercises like Prairie Vigilance rarely produce the kind of public attention that follows outright combat action, yet they are some of the most important drills in the entire U.S. strategic force. Prairie Vigilance is built to strengthen the safety, security, reliability, and rapid response capability of the bomber leg of America's nuclear triad. It tests how quickly and how smoothly the force can generate strategic air power under pressure. During the exercise, maintainers, munitions crews, security forces, air crews, and command and control teams all rehearsed the steps required to prepare bombers for missions tied to national deterrence. The goal is simple but critical. Make sure the bomber force can respond with speed, discipline, and precision if the United States or its allies are ever threatened. Well before a bomber begins taxiing, the preparation phase is already in full swing. Maintenance and munitions crews spend hours checking the aircraft, inspecting systems, and making sure the mission will not be compromised by mechanical faults or human error. Security teams are responsible for protecting the area and safely moving weaponry from one point to another without disrupting operations. At the same time, pilots and aircrew prepare their gear, mission materials, and emergency equipment so they can step into the aircraft and launch at short notice. Prairie Vigilance depends on all of these teams working together with precision. At the center of this process is the B-52 Stratofortress, one of the most iconic strategic bombers ever built. Boeing developed the B-52 in the 1950s as a long-range bomber with the ability to carry a massive weapons load across intercontinental distances. The aircraft later served throughout the Cold War, the Vietnam War, and more recent conflicts including Iraq and Afghanistan. Even after more than 70 years in service, the B-52 remains one of the most valuable aircraft in the U.S. inventory. It can fly roughly 8,800 to 9,000 miles and carry up to 70,000 pounds of weapons. That exceptional range and payload are major reasons why the Air Force still intends to keep the bomber flying for decades to come. A major part of that continued relevance comes from the B-52's ability to carry long-range cruise missiles. One of the most important of these is the AGM-86B. A purpose-built, air-launched cruise missile developed to increase the bomber's effectiveness and survivability. Instead of forcing the aircraft to fly directly into the heaviest enemy defenses, the missile allows the B-52 to release its payload from far away. This is where the giant internal rotary launcher becomes so important. Mounted inside the bomb bay, It holds multiple missiles in a rotating arrangement, turning the B-52 into a standoff strike platform capable of launching several precision weapons in sequence from well outside hostile airspace. The roots of the AGM-86 concept go back to Cold War-era thinking, when the United States wanted a long-range system that could help bombers survive against Soviet air defenses. Early ideas resembled drones or decoys meant to distract radar and missile sites, but the concept later evolved into a true strike weapon. As technology improved, the missile gained greater range, better guidance, and a more practical combat role. It became a weapon capable of attacking strategic targets, such as radar stations, missile facilities, and command sites, while allowing the B-52 to remain at a safer distance. In effect, it helped transform the bomber from a direct penetrator into a missile carrier with global reach. The B-52 was built to carry a large and varied weapons load. But safely loading those weapons requires a specialized team of munitions, airmen. Bombs and missiles are transported from storage using handling equipment such as bomb lifts, loaders, and jammers. Once the aircraft's weapon bay is opened, the crews work from platforms and ladders to align each munition with the proper mounting point. If the aircraft is carrying a rotary launcher, the loading process becomes even more intricate because the launcher itself must be positioned, checked, and balanced correctly. Every connection, latch, and release mechanism has to be verified before the bomber is considered ready.
Got it. Acknowledge.
Once the B-52 is fully loaded, the tempo increases. Aircrew members move into the cockpit, start procedures begin, and final checks are completed on the ground. In alert operations, the bomber force has historically trained to launch very quickly, including through cartridge start methods that used explosive charges to help get engines running fast. While maintainers conduct the last pre-flight checks and clear support equipment away from the aircraft, the pilots prepare to taxi. Then the giant bomber rolls toward the runway and takes off, carrying either bombs or long-range missiles depending on the mission. In addition to launching missiles from the air, the United States also maintains strategic missiles in underground facilities known as missile silos. A missile silo is a hardened vertical launch structure buried beneath the surface and protected by a massive reinforced blast door. From the outside, it can look like little more than a concrete slab inside a secure compound. Beneath that plain appearance, however, lies one of the most powerful elements of the nuclear triad. These facilities are designed to protect missiles, preserve readiness, and ensure the United States retains an immediate response capability under extreme conditions. The U.S. has long maintained hundreds of ready intercontinental ballistic missiles in these silos, historically around 400 to 450 in the active force.
We did.
But launching an ICBM is never a simple mechanical act. It begins with warning, assessment, and command authority at the highest level. If a threat is detected, the president is informed. National leadership is brought into the decision chain, and secure communications are activated. Only after lawful orders move through the proper channels do launch crews begin the operational sequence. Their task is to verify that everything is functioning exactly as intended, including the missile's guidance, propulsion status, communications links, and safety systems. When every required system has been confirmed, the launch process moves into its final stage.
This is Alpha deterring Leon their incoming message. Thank you. All right, grab the launch key.
During the countdown, the launch area is secured and safety conditions are enforced while the system transitions toward release. Then the silo opens, the missile ignites, and an enormous column of fire and smoke erupts from the ground as the ICBM climbs into the sky. It is one of the most dramatic moments in strategic warfare. But it lasts only seconds. Behind that brief launch is a vast structure of maintenance, engineering, secure infrastructure, and highly disciplined personnel who keep the system ready year after year. Each missile silo is not operated as a completely independent site. In the case of missiles, such as the Minuteman III, launch control is centered in an underground launch control facility where 2 launch officers monitor and manage multiple silos connected by hardened cables. A group of roughly 10 silos is often referred to as a flight, and the silos are spread many miles apart to increase survivability. This spacing helps ensure that if one site is targeted, the rest of the flight can remain functional. The control centers and their crews remain on alert around the clock, forming a constant link in the land-based portion of America's deterrent posture. Intercontinental ballistic missiles can also be launched from submarines operating deep beneath the ocean. These sea-based missiles are a crucial part of the nuclear triad because they provide one of the most survivable forms of deterrence. Hidden at sea, ballistic missile submarines are extremely difficult to locate and can remain on patrol for extended periods. The most important missile in this category is the Trident II, a highly advanced submarine-launched ballistic missile capable of carrying multiple independently targeted reentry vehicles, or MIRVs. This means one missile can deliver several warheads towards separate targets. On Ohio-class ballistic missile submarines, the Trident II gives the United States a powerful second strike capability from beneath the sea. Launching a sea-based ballistic missile follows a different sequence from what happens at a silo. Once the crew initiates the procedure, the launch tube is prepared and the outer hatch is opened. The missile is then expelled from the submarine and rises through the water before its rocket motor continues the flight after breaching the surface. In a matter of moments, the missile transitions from underwater launch to powered flight on a pre-programmed trajectory. This capability is one of the main reasons the submarine force remains so important. Even if land bases or airfields were threatened, the sea-based leg could still respond from hidden positions far from the battlefield. Submarines also carry other missiles designed for naval warfare rather than strategic deterrence. One of the most feared is the UGM-84 Harpoon, an anti-ship missile weighing roughly 1,500 pounds and built to strike enemy vessels with a powerful warhead. The missile is encapsulated in a specially designed canister, so it can be launched from underwater through the submarine's torpedo tubes. Loading and handling it requires dedicated equipment and tightly coordinated crew procedures. During SYNCEX exercises, torpedoes and anti-ship weapons are fired at old or decommissioned ships, so crews can study how these weapons perform against real hulls. A direct strike can cause devastating structural damage and quickly send a vessel towards sinking. The nuclear triad remains a cornerstone of American strategic deterrence because it combines air, land, and sea-based capabilities into one layered system.
1. Mark. That's the transmitted release.
The bomber force provides visible, flexible, and recallable strike power, especially when aircraft like the B-52 are loaded with giant rotary launchers carrying long-range missiles. Land-based silos provide hardened and immediate response capability. Ballistic missile submarines preserve stealth and survivability beneath the ocean, while other submarine-launched weapons demonstrate their value in exercises like SYNCEX. Training events such as Prairie Vigilance are important because they prove these systems are not just machines sitting idle. They are maintained, practiced, inspected, and kept ready by real crews every day. That's the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to subscribe to this channel so you don't miss any of our new content. See you next time.